Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy, and we are back after a little bit of a hiatus as we were getting, into the second week of our Kickstarter. It was just a lot. There's a lot going on. Just by coincidence, there's a lot going on at work as well. So I needed a tiny smidge of a break. So we took off a little bit leading into the weekend because we had Witchtober Market, which was an event that we did that was witchy themed and Halloween themed. Had a good time with that. And then I needed a little break. I needed a tiny little break. We're back today. We're going to possibly wrap up this map and maybe move over to another one of the day one maps. So we'll have to kind of see how that goes. This is a two-part map that we're doing as part of our day one backer map. Obviously you can see a decent chunk of this map has already been done. We are going to be just putting some, points of interest into, some of the dead ends here, and of course in each of the quadrants of this map. And you can see we're kind of doing the Indian elements here. So we have a little bit of Greek and a little bit of Indian. So in India, the elements are associated with directions. So northeast is water, northwest is air, southwest is earth, southeast is fire. So we are going to try and put some kind of point of interest into those quadrants that's associated with that. We do know that we're going to be doing kind of like a water element, scrying bowl thing over here. So we'll start with that because I definitely know what that is. And let's see what we've got. I'm gonna try and see. I might try and do like a phoenix feather or something for the other stuff. We've got this sacrifice bowl over here, which might be able to do the trick for us. So I want this to be kind of on the bigger side of things. And let's see if we also can't do something extra. So we're not getting anything out of there. We've got rock pedestals that are not going to do the thing. I do have just the thing to help us out here because we do have a couple of our own pedestals. Of course, it's taking a little bit of time to load. We've got this one, which is one of the ones that we just had Sergey do for us. So let's see if get this to look right. I have a little bit of like that underside done, and the nice thing is those kind of look like steps. So let's do something like that with the saturation, and maybe we'll darken it just a little bit so you can see that. Throw the contrast up so you can see those stairs a little bit more. And let's do this. We're going to group both of them. Let's see, water pedestal. And let's flatten that to the background. And let's get some water and we'll throw that into the bowl. Maybe gray water. I don't often use that type, but it might do the trick for us. What are you woofing about? Let's see. Do something more like that. And let's get... I don't want to be in the brush layer anymore. I want to be in the assets. So let's do a ripple. Let's go to the water over here. Let's see, am I in the right place? It certainly doesn't feel like it. I'm trying to be in fantasy Battlemaps. Let's see, we've got Azure Waterfall. Maybe we can do rapids. What is the darn thing? We must find it. I think it's probably in the water set, and I'm just not looking in the right place. they moved everything around. Let's see, sea sailing ships, sea pirate ship. There we go. So we're looking for something like this, and perhaps the whirlpool. Right. So let's come in here. That swirl. Let's see if we can do something to. Oh, there we go. That is the key. Just need to make sure that it's within the bowl itself. And let's actually do a little bit of kind of like a bluer color. Do something that looks a little bit like this just to help it blend a smidge. There we go. And I might later on decide to put something else in there as well. Let us also do. Well, let's do a save real quick. Oh, by the way, I did want to also thank the folks who followed me while I was off stream. We are just 8 followers away from unlocking one of our cool things in Quantum Quest Live, which we're going to start again probably after the Kickstarter's done. It's just too much to do otherwise. But we will be talking about that a little bit more. Let's we don't need this text anymore because we do know that this is the scrying bowl. Let's do. Snap this to the grid, and that might be a little too much. I want it to look like this is getting ready to flood. And maybe we'll do a little bit up this way, and that's a little too. Something a little bit more like this. And we'll make it like this area can start to flood when you activate the scrying board. Misery says, yay, I can use my 27,000 coins. Yeah, we're right around the corner from that, so I am excited for you to be able to do that kind of stuff. When we're doing another save later, I'll go to our Quantum Quest preview so we can see what things look like. All right, we know that we're going to do something with fire, so let's see if we can't do some kind of feather somewhere. I don't necessarily need to get it from Fantasy Battlemaps, so let's see. It's the only feather we have. Let me see. Buzz. Got Hellfires over here. Got that, and let's do another kind of treasure chest. Let's see. Do another pedestal. Why is it that hell is the only one that has a pedestal? Do a pillar. So we've done something like this when it came to the shrine in the woods that we had. There we go. We've got these kind of temples over here. So let's do a brass wall pillar. We're going to make this look more like an altar. So that pillar still needs to be a little bit bigger. So we've got that. Let's see, do we want to do anything else flame related over here? Let's see what other fire stuff we can get. Yep, we're just gonna put a baking oven right in the middle of there. Let's see, we've got some braziers that we can put in. Braziers. There will never be a time where I don't call them braziers, because I am that silly. Alright, so we've got that piece there. Let's go to our earth element next. And this is the one where I'm a little bit, don't really know what we're doing, but elven is a good place to start, I think. So we've got the elven flower pots that we can use. Of course, as soon as I'm doing this stuff, I get busy. Alright, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to go and find some fruit. I don't like that. I can't find that stuff real easy. Alright, I got food baskets. I know that there's other place where this stuff is. Let's do hashtag food. Alright, we're gonna do something kind of cool here, I think. Let's get that snap to grid going. And we're going to say that this tree here is magical enough, well, tree, plant, whatever, bush. It's magical enough where it does a variety of different fruits. And we actually might even be able to have it look a little bit, well, you know what, the pot color kind of looks a little weird there. There we go. So we've got that guy there. Let's do, well, give it a second. Get rid of the earth element here, and then let's do something a little different here. We're actually going to have some farmland right here in the dungeon. Let's do rotation. Nope. Yeah, it's way too big. So let's do a texture scale of 15 perhaps. Yep, that works. And let's go to our stamps one more time. Doot doot. Not stamp. What am I doing? Let's go to the farm. Okay, we've got corn crops. That's wheat. Herb crops, carrot crops. Carrot crops is the way to go. Those are kind of big, so we're going to dial them back down. And then we've got these little sprouted crops. You know what, let's do that instead of carrots. So the idea that I have is that this little area is where a mandragora might be. let's do a save, and we're going to go over to our Quantum Quest preview. Now that our Twitch channel has reached affiliate status, we can start to do some really cool things. One of them is inviting you to play our tabletop dungeon diving game, Quantum Quest. Using our channel points, called Quest Coins, you can queue up for one of our forthcoming Tabletop Thursday games. In addition, as we amass more followers, we'll continue to add new ways for you to use your Quest Coins. Join us and see if you can escape the living dungeon. So, yep, we are just 8 followers away from our first real big upgrade in a long time. I feel like that'll change the flow of those games a lot, because mana is such a scarce thing that you can use in those things. I think that'll really help. All right, so we got our 3 of the 4 done. Got some water stuff, we got some fire stuff, we got some earth stuff. Now we got to figure out what to do with the air stuff. Rihanna, you're listening. What should I do down in this little area? Area. I feel like we've definitely got like gears that we could use. You were making that joke as I made it. We've got gears and stuff like that. We've got the milling stuff, right? There's got to be something that I can use to do something that makes it look like. There we go. So we've got the windmill and the broken windmill. Should be able to use this. Let's get that to be some kind of fan or feathers. There we go. I've got a fan. We're doing some kind of thing with a fan here. Let's see. I want to try and see. The shame of it is a lot of that gets lost at the edge there. Prepare to. Well, I'll tell you what we can do. Let's try and transform that. We'll mess with the height a little bit. Oh, well, the width, I suppose. Throw that there. That still looks fanny enough. Incense or smoke can symbolize air, so maybe I'll put something in this little area here. And then I want to try and change this to make it look like a metal fan. So let's try and maybe that blue right there with some desaturation and a little bit of it darker. There we go. Let's see. Maybe there's like a button that the players have to press in this room. Let's see if I can't figure out something like that real quick. But in the meantime, actually, since you had the idea to put like incense or smoke, let's do something with that. Got a couple of different smoke things over here. And let's do a random stamp. Some swirling smoke, and I might use the cloud to kind of represent mist as well. And we're not going to use this as like black smooth. Oh God, no! And let's see, is anything going to change there? No, not really, right? Let's see if the blend mode, if I can use that to make it look any different. Every now and then you get some weird stuff like the exclusion. Nah, we're not really getting anything there. I'll tell you what, let's start over and we're going to do the clouds instead. So we'll use the stuff here, and because we're going to kind of make it like an incensey thing, I kind of think perfume. So we're going to go with is it doing the thing? Whatever. Just need to be a little bit more careful about what I'm pressing. So we're going to change this to like a purple color. And let's do some bigger clouds that are a little bit more resolved. Probably going to change all of the opacity of that stuff so that it's a little bit less intense. There we go. Something, maybe that right there. And we're going to dial that back a little bit. Do a couple more of these bigger ones. So let's do all around this area over here. Some kind of miasma that's flowing into this area. I'm going to say that specifically. Here are little dogs downstairs sounding like an owl. So we are very specifically going to have this one over here kind of intense. This is where it's building up. And just kind of dissipating over there. And the reason for this is because this fan is distributing things. So I don't know how easy it would be for me to do like a motion blur kind of thing, but let's just play with it real quick. That's definitely a little bit too opaque. So let's try and do it with something like this. Not be opaque enough. Oh. Oh, you know what I could do? Now that I'm thinking about it. This is good. But what I might be able to do is use the blur. There we go. That, I feel like that helps a little bit. Let's do a couple more big kind of like motion blur kind of. Actually, I should be doing the same color too. There is a little bit of a shame that there's not like a pen tool where you can grab that stuff. Let's do a little bit darker. I feel like that kind of sells the idea a little bit. So we are going to have... Oh, Luna once ran out of the tub. I don't think that we have anything in the stamps that kind of does what we need as like a button. No, not quite like that. So let's see what we can use instead of a button to kind of, you know, it doesn't have to be a button. Let's do we have a lever? There we go. So let's do this guy from the wizard set. And that does not need to blur. But we do want it to kind of look in line with everything else in this room. So let's mess with the saturation and the brightness and the contrast. Ooh, that's way too contrasty. Let's make that bigger. I'll say that they have to grab it from that side and pull it back. I'm not a huge fan of that positioning. So I'll have two of those, and that's how you turn off this fan. So you have to figure out a way to get to the fan, and that's how you help disperse the miasma. Let's see, we got the water, we got the air, we got the earth, and we got the fire now. So everything is looking pretty good. Let's do one more save. Give me a chance to hydrate. So that's a good start. But we do know that we're going to also need some other points of interest. So let's do this to help us mark where we're going to put some things. Oh, you know what? Let's take this serious. The glove goes on. So we're going to come in here and we're going to have a point of interest here, point of interest here, point of interest there. It's going to be a busy map. Anywhere that there's a big dead end, we'll have something fun. Something in here. Moof! Something there. Oh, you know what? Another statue there would be kind of cool. Do something over here. Or over here. Maybe we'll, oh, that was a weird one. Link both of those ones. I thought I heard one of the doggies up here. That was kind of weird. There's no dead end here because this is a hidden passage that leads up here. Well, not hidden, but you know. This isn't a dead end. So nothing here. Nothing here. Nothing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, there's a decent amount. Like, this is more POIs than we ever really have, so this is good. And up here isn't really a dead end either because it's leading you to here, so we don't have to go too crazy there. So I think we're in good shape. Let's see. So I want another kind of like golem thing up here. So maybe we'll actually just use our same Minotaur statue that we have. Throw it under that layer so that it gets some of that shadow. And let's go into something like that. Oh. So the idea is that when you get down here, you know, as you're passing through, you see the statue, but you don't think of anything. And then over here, there's something that activates it. So let's go to our traps. I feel like I need a pressure plate and I don't know where one is. Tell you what, let's get out of there, just go into traps and see if we see anything we like. The swinging rock. And we've got a blade trap, little guillotine thing, but yeah, no pressure plates, and that doesn't do the trick for me as far as that goes. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to change the color of this so that it's unsaturated, and let's change some of the blend modes and see if we can't find anything we like. Darken actually didn't look too shabby because you can see like the outlines a little bit. Let's leave that alone for now, and we'll play with some of the other stuff. Color burn, no. Lighten screen, dodge. Dodge might not be too terrible either, right? Because you can definitely see the color shift, but it might be a little too perfect. I'll tell you what, let's do that, and let's do a blur. That's not shabby. And then let's add a shadow. Now it doesn't quite do what I want, but everything else is still pretty good. So let's throw that right there, and let's get rid of the star because I don't need that. And let's help sell the idea even more. Let's go back to our path tool, and we're going to change the color to black and mess with that a little bit more. Okay, and it's definitely a little bit too much, so let's dial it back to 0.15. Let's do a little bit down here as well, and we can move that layer down so that it's not interfering with the wall. I think that is definitely enough where most people would see it. You'd know. But maybe you're not paying attention. Maybe you're not. Alright, let's see what else we can do as far as some cool stuff to put in here. Let's go to our dungeon stuff. Dungeons. We got treasure and stuff. We got cloth, which we might be able to use as like a map. Check that out real quick. Let's do another pedestal. We've got, I thought I saw one that looked a little bit more like that. of them is quite doing what we want. So let's just do this marble one. So I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, and I want it to be underneath that. It's a good start. Okay, and then we've got the map. Okay, and let's do, if I go to, that's all map stuff, but, should have just did this one. Eh, we'll use the wizard one. Wizard one looks good. There we go. And let's zhuzh it up a little bit. I hear some noise. Give me 1 second. All right, so this is going to be a quick one. We have a doggy doo-doo problem, so let's wrap this up real quick. All right, just real quick. Couple of places you can go to: Tellest.com, Patreon.com/Tellest, Tellest.Etsy.com, BattleMapFantasy.com. That'll get you to all the places that we have map stuff. We are running a Kickstarter right now, where you can see some of the cool stuff that we've got. We also have 2 TikTok channels, at Weird Witch Wands and at Tales of Tellest, where you can find wand stuff and doggy stuff, and 2 other channels that you should check out, at World of Tellest and youtube.com/@worldofTellest, where you can see all these videos in perpetuity, and then twitch.tv/thattellestguys, where you can see things like this live. I'm gonna have to go deal with some duty. Thank you for joining. I miss you.